This is Travis Wayne Goodsell. I'm able to get back into regular videos now because the project that I was involved with that I told you about in the other video is for the most part over with. So I'm just doing some cleanup stuff, so to speak, so I can get back to videos warning Mormons of the destruction of the Mormon Church. And now, having said that, Mormons are now clicking off the YouTube channel and putting a thumbs down for their hatred and disgust that I would dare go against the church. But Mormons, what makes you different than Christians, Catholics, Jews, Muslims, Islam? What makes you different? Oh, because you have the true God. Oh, have you seen him? No, you haven't. You are assuming that the prophets who lead the church are telling you the truth. You're assuming. And you can claim all you want that you have feelings and you have opinions and you have beliefs, but you're assuming. That's all it is. You haven't seen God. Therefore, you're trusting and relying on the testimony of others, not knowing if that testimony, borrowed light, is true. And now, as a result, Mormons have created, well, they're actually just adopting the Christian doctrines as their own. Mormonism is turning Christian as they realize that their faith is in great jeopardy. Evangelicals were a big part of this conversion of Mormonism. So yes, evangelicals, you've done your job. You have infiltrated Mormonism and have caused them to change. Well done. So yeah, I mean, I saw it with my mother. She used to watch, was it Billy Graham, the Billy Graham show, way back when. She'd be ironing the mountains of clothes of the 4 kids and eventually 5, and 17 years later 5. But I would see her in her master bedroom, because yes, I came from a white privileged home. So yeah, when I left home, my parents only paid for my LDS mission and my Rick's college. And after that, I was on my own, and I was poor ever since. And so I'm no longer privileged. And according to my 23andMe DNA, I found out that my 3rd great grandmother is from West Africa. So now it's just a small percentage still, so don't go thinking you're not black. But yeah, I have human blood of all different ethnic groups, races from around the world. That's what 23andMe told me. No monkey DNA though. I was kind of surprised by that. They go back hundreds of thousands of years to tell me that I'm from Egypt, but no monkey DNA. What's up with that? I'm disappointed. Are they not allowed to get DNA from monkeys to find out which one I'm from? Or maybe science has been lying to us that we don't come from monkeys. Anyway, so I was born and raised Mormon. I was a believer. I trusted, just like you guys are now, that the prophets were telling the truth. I trusted that Joseph Smith was telling the truth. I believed until I started to study. But I didn't go straight to church history. Instead, what interested me was Joseph's translations. I was fascinated by Egyptian in the book of Abraham. I want to know what it says, because he doesn't give a translation. It was very clear. There was no translation. I wanted to know. That came from papyra. Where's that papyra? I want the papyra. I've since gotten the papyra. Hold on a second. I've gotten the papyra. I now possess it. Anything I want, I pursued, because I was born and raised in white privilege. You know? So, in my situation, you know, I want something, I get it. Nobody tells me no. Whereas people who are not born into privilege are born and conditioned to be suppressed, and that ain't right. But yeah, I went on trying to figure out how to translate the Bible correctly. Article of Faith number 8. The Bible's not translated correctly. Book of Mormon. You know, the story of Nephi having his dream that was the same as Lehi's dream, his father. And Bible was messed up. It was abused and mistranslated and interpolated wrong, and all sorts of things were done to the Bible. So I wanted to know. And so that's what I went into, was languages. And there were many opportunities for languages. You know, to learn Egyptian, there's I think it's Brown University here in the States, and then there's Southern California, the university down there that has some people, and I think one of the new BYU apologists studied Egyptian for a couple of years there. A couple of years. Yeah, I'm going to trust him with my Egyptian knowledge. Not. So, yeah. When I found that the traditional translation had errors in it, I needed to find out, well, what is the correct language? So I needed to go back to the origins of the alphabet, Paleo-Hebrew, also called Phoenician. It's not Proto-Sinaitic, as I've come to learn. Everybody's pushing Proto-Sinaitic as the origin of the alphabet. No, it's all just a scam. Because when you realize that Hebrew is as it is today because of the Babylonian influence, then you realize that the Proto-Sinaitic found in the Sinai is therefore this corrupted Hebrew. So the origins of Hebrew was not known by anybody yet. William Albright was not correct. And so, yeah, that's why I did the research, and I studied, went to all different sources I can find, because nobody's going to hold back information when I want to know something. You know, people will try to keep secrets, and they'll try to censor information from me, but I will find out one way or another. That, you know, it was in my patriarchal blessing. And so I believed anything I wanted I was going to get. And I did. And so, but I was smart enough to understand the source materials that I was looking at. So when Joe Samson came out with his book, written by the finger of God, you know, I read it, annotated it, and the publisher that he was using was horrible, ripped up the pages, no, it looks like it's down near the bottom of one of those piles over there, so I won't show you. Well, I've since gotten a newer version, but I did the research and found out the origins of the alphabet. And so today, Paleo Hebrew is my #1 publication. And there is no one book of Paleo Hebrew that is catching everybody's attention. People are getting all different varieties. So I get a steady royalty check every month, or deposit, because of the Hebrew royalties. Because I'm trying to teach people how to learn Hebrew. How to learn Hebrew? How to understand Hebrew. I learn you well. And so, yeah, I deciphered Paleo Hebrew. I am he. And have been trying to teach others how they too can understand Hebrew. And haven't fully finished it with the vocabulary and then translation examples, but I got the alphabet more than covered. I tried to get a Kindle version started, and Amazon does not accept the font. So it was a horrible tragedy. I come out with dozens of books in Paleo Hebrew script, only to find out by customers' complaints that they can't. It's all just number replacements. So that was a big fiasco. And so I finally figured out pictures. Turn the fonts into pictures and then put the pictures into the. So I revised all of those and tried to stop the production of all the other ones that were a failure. So yeah, I'm sure there's probably a few still out there that have got errors in them. But yeah, it's nice that Amazon has a free feature, but it lacks in its full ability to handle authors like me, who are not your typical author. I don't just put words in, I put knowledge and information for you to glean from and learn from and whatever. Until then, that discovery of mine led to Egyptian, and I've really been wanting to do the same procedure that I did with Paleo Hebrew with my Egyptian, to help people learn and understand Egyptian. But I haven't been able to get to that because I had to find pictures, and eventually I found them on the internet that I went and had to actually copy and paste each and every single sign that was out there from Egyptian or Gardner's sign list, and then I got them in a file to access so that I can start that process. But yeah, the combos where they put hieroglyphs on top of each other or next to each other, I have to go through all of them and do picture fonts for each of those combos, because they weren't available. So that's a huge undertaking, but I have done samples of the theory that I deciphered with the Egyptian petroglyphs. Nobody in Egyptology translates the petroglyphs. All they translate are the text with the pictures. And Mormons, you want to know why Joseph or Oliver Cowdery, as it was claimed to have been passed on to do the translation, why the book of Joseph was never translated? Oh, Mr. Carter, pick me. I know the answer. Vinny Barbarino. All right, so yeah, this is the book of Abraham, and you'll see that, oh well, there's a petroglyph right there, facsimile number 1, as it's commonly known among Mormons. And if you haven't paid attention, Mormons, chapter 1 of the Book of Abraham is a translation of this petroglyph. It is not a translation of any of this, although the reconstruction of facsimile 2 was taken from the Book of Joseph. So other people have already identified that, but you'll notice that not much is available for translation here. You'll see this, get this light out of the way. This is pretty much the only petroglyph that is translatable. All the others are just a simple picture, and so there's not much to work with to render a translation. And so according to my theory, that's why the Book of Joseph never got translated, is because there wasn't much to work with to turn it into the Book of Joseph. But why was it called the Book of Joseph? We got Abraham and Joseph. Where would that come from? I'm expecting an Amazon package delivery, so it could be any time now. So I'm hearing car screechings. Alright, so yeah, the bus. Alright, so if you guys aren't familiar with the Book of Mormons, why aren't you familiar with the Book of Mormon? I mean, I've been telling people for decades that the Book of Mormon is Egyptian. Even when John Welsh became popular in Mormonism and has got his job at BYU and is doing paid conferences and lectures and stuff about, oh, the Book of Mormon is Hebrew. No, John, no, that's plagiarism. You're supposed to be looking for Egyptianisms, not Hebraisms. So, yeah, Mormons, you can be easily deceived. Remember, section 43 of the Doctrine and Covenants, or in the words of Jesus in chapter 24 of Matthew, prophets will come, they will try to deceive the elect. Joseph Smith in 43 says, only listen to Joseph Smith. And Mormons, of course, have said, oh, well, it's also Brigham Young and all successive presidents of the church. Brigham Young wasn't authorized, according to 43. Sorry, I've been trying to warn you, Mormons, and you're not getting it. Only Joseph Smith was authorized, not Brigham Young. And so, thus, it no longer applies, because there is no prophet on the earth. And so the church needs to be restored, and I told you, section 107 is how to restore it. But in 43, it again warns Mormons, you will be deceived if you don't listen to Joseph Smith. And so, what was Joseph Smith warning about? You know, section 1, hello. You know, that's what the Book of Mormon message is. Yes, it's plagiarism, but critics of the church, ex-Mormons, non-Mormons, they don't see it. They automatically see, oh, plagiarism, not true. And they toss it aside and say, do no more, because they now know it's false. But they didn't do a thorough research. There's a coded message in the Book of Mormon warning us about the destruction of the United States. And well, yeah, we're now under authoritarianism, people. We now have a king on the throne that the Book of Mormon warned about. And, you know, Mormons can't argue me on this. You can't put a thumbs down and prove me wrong. You know, you guys are haters. You're not getting it. You voted for Trump. You're still supporting Trump, according to the research data. Trump is now king. He shut down the government. He's trying to tell you, oh, these droids are not yours. And these droids aren't the ones you're looking for. And you guys are falling for the Jedi mind trick. What did Jabba the Hutt complain about his pig guards when Luke Skywalker was able to use the Jedi mind trick on them to let him in to have an audience with Jabba the Hutt to get Han Solo back from his carbon freezing. Liken Star Wars unto yourselves. See, non-Mormons don't understand my jokes here. But Mormons should catch on. And you guys are getting offended rather than paying attention to me. So that's what I'm doing here with these videos. I'm trying to use your manner of speech so that you will understand clearly, without any confusion, that the church isn't true. It's not led by God. And what that means is that everything the leaders do is wrong. Everything. And Mormons can't accept that. They won't accept that. They would rather destroy my life and reputation and argue and threaten my life rather than check for themselves that the church isn't true. And so, yeah, I have had to go through and delete tons of people and ban them from my site because of abuse. Mormons are abusing me on my own channel because they can't handle the truth. You probably haven't seen that because I'm sure it comes from an R-rated movie. So, what do, Mormons? You can't just refuse to listen and then you be proven right. You know, I've done all the different videos to show you. You know, go to my channel, click on the videos. I think they've fixed the problem that I was having about hiding certain videos. So, all right. You know, section 107. I think it's in verse 22 or 23 that gives the solution. I think it's 23. Shall we go on a journey? Journey. Journey. All right. 107. And we'll type in 20. All right. Yep, 23. No, 22. Yeah, 22, sorry. Verse 22. Of the Melchizedek priesthood, 3 presiding high priests chosen by the body. The Melchizedek priesthood. Chosen, which means a vote. There is no vote in the church, is there? But they try to cover it up, don't they? The sustaining vote for the solemn assembly or for the regular sustainings of the leaders of the church. You will raise your hand and support us. You have no option. If you choose to vote no, you will be referred to your stake president, who will then excommunicate you if you insist on fighting against the Lord's chosen. It's not chosen by God. It says chosen by the body. Of the Melchizedek priesthood, 3 presiding high priests chosen by the body. It does not say by God. Chosen by the body. So, yeah, the church is a fraud. We're allowing leaders to be put in that are not chosen by the body. So, I don't want this to go on forever. I still am trying to clean up some stuff, but just keeping in touch with you. And I'm really concerned about Sunday, Super Bowl. There's symbolism there that I'm not happy with. Go to my website if you really want to pay attention, because government stuff is on my website. People love my website. I've been breaking records in it lately. First time over 1,000 views, and then this week, over 1,400 views. So, yeah, people love me there. Because I'm able to show pictures and have videos and fun stuff. So, yeah, the video I did about the creation story and the Bible and translation, those are all stuff. But, all right, enough of my yammering.